This film is totally unique. This is not a retranscription of a Björk concert, of course. It's a film shot with 16 cameras, edited, and it's made by two filmmakers, Nick Fenton and Peter Strickland. Please welcome Nick Fenton, Peter Strickland, and Björk, the artist, the great artist Björk.
So we're going to dive into a Q&A, and because this is such a great room, allow for a few seconds while I repeat the question if you ask them so that everyone can hear. I think I'm still in cloud biophilia, and it's hard to come down, so I don't even know where to start, but if we take it from the start, David Attenborough, who is the voice of nature, I think, in like all of our living rooms for the past, I don't know how many years. How did you get him involved? What was his reaction? What's your relationship to him?
Well, I think Björk should probably answer that because he was involved in the biophilia project from the start.
Yeah, I think from the beginning, when I started writing the music for biophilia, his name kept popping up here and there, and we were in touch with him about several things. And in the end, yeah, we asked him if he would narrate the beginning of the app, and that's actually what's being played in the film, is the introduction to the app. And then he helped us with permission of all the nature footage that we borrowed, and yeah, so it became a sort of a woven and complicated thing in the end. But yes, he was like our guardian.
Hi, Björk. My name is Andrew. I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's a pleasure to find you. Nice to meet you. I have a question and a request. First, a question. Like 2 years ago, you had to cancel some of your concerts in South America, including one in Brazil, because of your problem in your chordal voice. So I was wondering if you think of retaking that music. And now, my request. I thought of giving you a gift, and it should be special not only to me, but also to you. So I remember once one interview that you mentioned that when you were younger, you were like a punk girl. So I thought, what else better than a book from the queen of punk, Patti Smith. So I was wondering if I could handle that to you.
So the question, I guess, in there is whether Björk will repeat a tour that she cancelled in South America a few years ago because of her vocal cords. I don't know who wants to answer that, I guess, if that's even... I think we'll go to the next question. Please. So yeah, the question is about the instrument that Björk uses in her performances, the pendulums, the apps, I don't know, all the electronics, and the question is whether you've commissioned them or how you how you found them, how you use them.
Yeah, the instruments all have a different story, each one. I think most of them have the same story, which is that I wanted to write on touchscreens. I started biophilia by writing music on touchscreens, and that was really exciting for me. And then I started mapping out how I see musicology, and I connected it with nature, and then I made all these patterns out of nature, and then I decided to get instruments made that I could plug straight into the iPad. Well, at the time that was a Lemire because they hadn't made the iPads yet. But so I got basically a pipe organ that could read MIDI, which basically means pipe organ that you can plug your iPad into. And I wanted a gamelan, but that was both way too expensive and complicated to play by the screen. So then at that point we had run out of money. So I had my old Celeste, which I bought from the symphony orchestra in Iceland, which they had sold it really cheap because it was almost falling apart, and they want to get a new one. So I bought it, but then I took the notes out. We gutted it and replaced it with bronze notes. That's like in gamelan. So it was sort of like a cheap gamelan. But also actually really practical to travel with because you throw all these bronze notes into a wooden box and a flight case and you can take it around the world. And so, and then the pendulum was also commissioned. I went for a visit to MIT a few times, met a lot of people, and then we ended up making the pendulum. And then the Sharpsichord, which is the last song, that was a totally different story where a friend of mine, Matthew Herbert, emailed me a link to of Henry Dack playing music, and so I ended up going to Kent and arranging the song for that. The hang drum, which Manu Delago plays, that's another story. Yeah, he did a really good job, right? Yeah, everybody loves Manu. Yeah, I know. I just saw him on YouTube play that really amazing song, and we were listening to it all the time when we were making Biophilia. In the end, I asked him if he would play in Virus, the song, and then he came to a rehearsal, and he said, and then he started arranging everything else. And then, before we knew it, he was on every single song. And he's just kind of this guy that can do everything, you know. So he really saved us. So yeah, I think that's all the instruments, right? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, please, sir.
Hi. With the Biophilia app, do you think you're going to release any future apps, music-related like Biophilia? Are those in the pipeline?
So, sorry, the question is about whether there will be any more apps coming from björk, like the Biophilia one.
Well, the spine in Biophilia is my favorite word because I can never say it. Pedagogical. Yeah, pedagogical. Yeah, it's got the rhythm. So it's basically the sort of main aspect of musicology, which is, you know, rhythm, chords, scales, things like this. So, you know, but there's only so many aspects to musicology. You can't add like more, you know. So I think what I was more keen to do, and which I'm really happy to announce, is that Biophilia Educational got a really big fund from Scandinavia, and where we are going to make the continuity of Biophilia and improve it so it can be make a proper curriculum. That's another really good word, actually. With a pedagogical curriculum for which can be implied by any school that wants in the world. So this is something we're about to do this year, and so I kind of really would rather want to do that and improve the apps, because when we did it, there were certain things we couldn't program, but now we can program so much more. So we could make it even better. And I was a very personal victory of mine that we managed also to get it done for Android, because the most interest came from underprivileged schools, like in in second and third world countries, and those kids don't really have iPads, so that was a huge step, and they've been used a lot in those areas. So that's kind of my little secret project I will be doing on the side. So I think I would rather put my energy probably to stuff like that than more apps maybe at the moment. Yeah.
So sorry, to bring this back to the film, to Nick and Peter, would you mind talking about how you have very different backgrounds in filmmaking? Nick, I think this is your first film, and as a director, is that correct? And then how did you get involved with Björk, and why did you choose this concert to film? And how?
Well, I think it was more they chose us, or more specifically Peter, and then Peter approached me to be involved. So I mean, it feels very much the kind of final piece of a very large jigsaw, and a very kind of ambitious jigsaw. So it was a privilege. I wish it could carry on forever, really, because it's such a joy to be able to work, with these songs and Björk's artistry.
I can't say it any better. Yeah, well, I mean, I've known your work since the Sugar Cubes. But not the first band you were in, though. I knew about that later, because I didn't know about Björk's connection with Crass and all this kind of stuff. But also so I mean, we all knew Björk from her solo music, but there was this whole other world that you introduced, people like David Tibet and so on and so on. And I remember reading about you in The Wire magazine, I think with Stockhausen, is that right? I think when we got together, it seemed completely natural to do something for this. I mean, it was strange for me because I'd never done a concert film before, and it was just a new thing to try and work myself into somehow, I think.
We might as well go to the next one. Is there... Sorry, in the middle back there?
Yeah, I got the chance to see the Biophilia show 3 times, and really just saw it from different parts of the stage because it's so beautifully placed in the round. I was wondering if when you were going to film it, there were shots you had sort of pre-established in your mind that you wanted to include, or you just kind of filmed and then went to editing and said, oh, that looks beautiful, let's put it in there because it looks so stunning on a big screen.
So the question is how you planned to film this, because there are so many angles, because it's on the round, how you can manage that, and whether you edited it in the editing room or did you pre-plan shots on location?
Well, that was a bastard. I mean, that was so difficult. The first time I'd done a concert film, it was in the round. It was just really tricky because we don't want to disturb the performers. We don't want to disturb the audience. So we had to get 16 cameras. There was no other way. And I think it was Brett Turnbull. He was the head cinematographer. He spent a lot of time with Peter, I think your stage guy, talking about seating elevation. I remember many Skype calls and emails about seating elevation and so on and so on. We went to see you in Paris, just without cameras, just in the audience, and then we did a dummy run in Tokyo. I think just Brett and I, just 2 cameras only, and then Alexander Palace. And I think so. The setup was established way in advance, and Nick and I sat in this, it looked like a security booth, I think we felt like security guards with our donuts, looking at 16 monitors with our, I think we just needed an Alsatian dog to complete it. But then after that, it's over to you really, because you're the one who did a huge amount with choosing the shots.
It's difficult to know where to start, because with all the archive as well, that was another kind of mountain to climb to find the right material that represents each of those songs. So it's really just about getting inside those songs and feeling, you know, what they're about, and trying to replicate it on the screen, and just make the ideas fresh every time, every moment as the film progresses. So it's pretty spontaneous, really.
Sorry, at the very back there.
Yes, thank you. It was a great film. Thank you so much. My question is, Björk, your music seems very spiritual to me. Not just, I mean, it's talking about biophilia and these kind of things, but very spiritual. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that influences your artistry?
The question is about the influence of a certain kind of spirituality on the music and artistry.
Yeah, thank you. I take it as a compliment. It is very hard to talk about, though. It's hard to pin it. Maybe also someone like me, who's sort of been doing music for 500 years. It sort of becomes a part of what I do, and sort of maybe something you live with and you weave into what you do, and if it's not there, something's big is missing. But if it's there, it's there. I mean, sorry, it's really hard to put your finger on it, but of course it's my prime motivator, of course, and then of course I'm humble enough to know that there's a lot of attempts to include it that are don't succeed, and then you succeed, and maybe when you try the least, sometimes that'll trick. But yeah, I'm gonna keep trying. But thank you.
All right. Unfortunately, we only have time for one more question, so I'm gonna go with this one here.
That lady right here, yes?
Exactly.
Hi, Björk. Well, actually, to be honest, I don't know you very well. But my friend is your #1 fan, and we came together through music. Your music. So thank you. And sorry, I had some questions lined up, but shit, I got a little bit nervous, and now it's run away.
What do you think we feel?
Someone else, because I don't want to.
Sure, of course. Thank you.
But please, first of all, say hello to Ivona Miller, who's your #1 fan. We got nervous, I'm sorry.
Yes, please. Here.
I'd like to ask you, who designed your outfits for the show and the outfits you're wearing now?
So the question is about the.
I think Gaga got all her ideas from it.
So the question is about the design of the outfits, both now and for the show, and a compliment saying that Lady Gaga must have gotten all her inspiration from Björk.
Yeah, the dress I'm wearing is Iris van Herpen, and but I wore quite a lot of clothes through the tour. It was 2 years, and of the 3 as 4 made some clothes. They made the clothes for the choir. 3 as 4, they're here with us tonight, and Marian Pejovsky, and I'm wearing. He made this. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. It's been an amazing night.